Hello and welcome to Pickle's Garage. Today we're going to be working on the Jeep Grand Cherokee, specifically steering stabilizer. If you've seen some of my other videos, you saw that I recently changed my shocks. I wanted to do the stabilizer as well. I don't have the current issues and the current symptoms that would require a change, so to speak, but upgrading it is always something that's good to do. You are supposed to check these every, 12,000 miles based on what the box says. Basically, in a nutshell, what a steering stabilizer does is it prevents your tires from vibrating or having too much wobbliness, which you find common with 4x4 vehicles. So having a truck or a lifted vehicle, bigger tires, you're going to run into issues with having sort of that wobbliness in your driveline. In extreme scenarios, you'll have situations where you can actually have death wobble. That was very common with Jeeps for a little while. Death wobble basically when you're driving, and it was most common under heavy braking that I experienced, is the entire vehicle would shake pretty violently. And so you'd be going fast, you'd hit brakes, not necessarily violently, but you'd just hit brakes normally and the entire vehicle would shake. You can, for the most part, control it fairly easily, but they actually have death wobbles on motorcycles as well, and so you can understand where it gets its name. So upgrading this, it's going to help me kind of track better. It's going to keep the vehicle going a little bit easier, a bit straighter. So steering stabilizer, a lot of them came out of the factory, and it just prevents high elevation vehicles or 4x4 vehicles from having that sort of wind wander or having any sort of shake. So that is what we're going to be fixing today and replacing. Fairly easy repair. We're going to go ahead and pull out our tools and dive right into it. Alright, so opening the box, we have our stabilizer slash dampener. It comes with some new hardware here. The one thing I will note is even in the instructions, it talks about reusing an old bellow because it assumes that you have a old bellow to go with it. You're gonna see on mine out of factory that was not the case, so I hate when they do that because obviously the picture shows it has a bellow, the website showed it had a bellow. Naturally, sometimes these connection points aren't the same, so they just use one universal image, but it is unfortunate that it did not come with one. I had a rack and pinion bellow laying around, so I'm going to cut it a little bit just to make it work for my needs, but just keep that in mind that you may need to buy this separately as well. So we're going to go ahead and go under the Jeep right now and look at the old one. Okay, so here we go. You can see my old one a lot thinner, that's why I'm upgrading here. So but it doesn't have a bellow, it just has this kind of cheap plastic that comes on a bunch of these, but it's going to be on your passenger side. There's two mounting points, a little different naturally. So we're going to take this is a 15 millimeter and a long ratchet here. There is a point right here because there's not a bolt. This isn't like one straight bolt as the new one is, where you can connect a wrench to, but it's actually right here. So yours might be similar. It just has that sort of hexagon right here so that you could put a 3/4, probably put a 19 on there as well, to give you that extra bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it loose because I don't think I'll need to stabilize it too much just to start. But we're just gonna go ahead and get that loosened. So you can see it's starting to turn right now, and so it's not gonna be a whole lot of weight that you need to put on it, but you're just gonna get that, get a little stability there. Oh. Gotta be an octopus sometimes, making sure you guys are getting good angles, but also trying to get this off while making sure I don't get dust in my eye, preferably. Making all the sounds of quality goodness there. So we'll be good to get rid of this. Like I said, I don't really have a whole lot of side effects of a bad dampener. I did road tripper recently, and every little gust of wind was taking me places I didn't want to go. So, not in a super dramatic way, but in a way that's not enjoyable. So, hopefully this will aid in that a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to get this the rest of the way off sometime this millennium. Maybe I can, ooh, there we go. Love when that works out. It's like the longest 3mm ever. Come on. There we go. Oh yeah. That rusted goodness that just loves to hang on. Nature's Loctite. Nice and hot. There we go. So that is now off, which is good news. So it'll slide straight back. Now we can go ahead and start attacking this one. This is going to be an 18mm on the bottom, and it's going to be 15 on the top. So I am going to see if I can go at it this way, and then I'm actually going to use a wrench here to stabilize it. Same concept. There we go. All this plastic in the way. Whew. That's why mechanics don't have to go to the gym. All these rusty bolts. I know there's a lot of people that are like, well, why don't you just get like one of those like torque guns or whatever. But where's the fun in that, you know? You gotta be part of it. Oh. Is this? No way. It's a welded nut. Don't get any better than that. There we go. So our second one, like I said, that's actually a welded nut, so didn't even have to hold that. Ooh, okay. There we go. So that is the old one out. You'll notice that there is a specific side that has the bolt and then a side that goes here. So I'll grab the new one real quick. Okay, so this is our old one removed, and you can press it with your hands, and it holds. So this one is definitely dead. So a lot of modern vehicles, or more modern vehicles, they kind of set up the linkage in a way that makes these almost redundant. And so, like I said, I was having some issues here and there, but I mean, this was not doing literally anything. So might be a world of a difference now that I have my upgrade one. So I did, like I said, I had to use a rack and pinion bellow that I had laying around. Basically just cut the top and popped it through. I slid this down, and I think it's gonna work just great. It looks kind of cool, not gonna lie. There is torque specs. I know a lot of you guys aren't actually torquing things to spec, and I understand that sentiment. If you can, the top bit is supposed to be 30 pounds and the bottom bit is 65. So nice and tight for the top, all your might, the bottom probably. But we're gonna go ahead and slap this on and get this one done. Okay, so you could throw away your old nut, don't need that. That came in your new one. The old bolt, though, on the rear, back here, you will still need. So don't throw that one away just yet. Basically, it's going to look like this. So bolt is going to be coming from the rear. You're going to have your little donut with the machined side towards your stabilizer. And then you're going to push it through the hole here. Really have a diesel competition going on right now. And you're going to go ahead and start getting this snug. Don't worry, this does rotate around, but it's in its own little machined pit here, so you don't have to worry about it walking to and fro. But I'm just going to get it more or less snug just so I could start lining this side up. You're going to want to pull it towards yourself here. There'll be a little resistance, but not anything too crazy. But you're going to want to line it up. If you have a screwdriver, I would recommend doing that to get it lined up, just right through here. So I'm going to grab that real quick. Okay, you shove it up through the hole, kind of walk it into place like that. Do a little circle, and then I'm going to be able to put this through the top here if I'm lucky. Now it needs to go a little further. There we go. Right about there ought to do it. You gotta dance with it a little bit. There we go. So now it is lined up. I'm gonna start feeling the threads, which I do. And go ahead and tighten her up. So, like I said, this side is going to be 65 pounds. The other side is 35. But that is effectively it here. So, I won't make you watch the glory that is the rest of these turning angles. But thank you very much for watching, and feel free to like and subscribe if you want me to make more of these. And I'll see you next time.